Welcome back to Age of Strife, everybody. It is, what did we say? It's like Monday the 17th. You guys are all gathered together at the family estate in Wadsworth. There has been this morning, the servants have reported that the town crier has announced that the Lithman family has placed a bounty on the goblins in exchange for the recent murder, as they're calling it, of a dozen or so people. There is now a 1 silver bounty on each goblin head, payable by the Lithman family.
How many goblins did we kill last time?
Not that many.
5.
5? Okay, so 5 silver, and we're a bit stronger now, so we could do a bit better.
All right. That said, it is your day. What do you guys want to do?
All right. The first thing is I'm going to walk up to my brother and say, "Brother, you lied to me.
What did I lie to you about?
You went to the party after you promised me you would not go."
Brother.
Astrid told me everything.
Brother.
I am disappointed. That's all I have to say.
Brother.
Continue.
My sister wanted to go to the party, and what my sister wants to do, I will ensure that she does it. And I assure you, she was the life of the party. You would have been proud.
Brother, you are very intelligent, but sometimes you do not
heard
think.
about their wonderful new house furnishings?
House furnishings?
Did Astrid and Luis tell you about that? I think we need to have a talk with Mother. I think I may have evidence now to prove my conspiracies.
Very well. Let's go.
All right. The 4 of you, actually, Henry joins in, and I can never remember Henry's wife. Susan. Yes. Henry and Susan join in. In fact, everyone's there, including Jess and Astrid and Louise. The whole family's gathered for a meeting, kind of coincidentally, I guess. Many of them were just in the parlor when you guys show up.
As we all gather, I look around. Astrid, Luis, would you care to excuse us? We grown-ups need to have a talk.
They reluctantly leave.
Thank you, girls. I'm not going to marry you to a centaur for your obedience. And I look to Susan. It's a joke. Don't worry.
All right. You have the floor.
Mother?
Yes?
In your buried treasure / items in your backpack.
The ones that were stolen from me?
Yes.
Yes?
Was there, and then I begin to explain to her all of the items that we had seen on the table.
Yes, there were... I had brought back... What was it now? She looks through her mental notes. I had brought back some gold flatware, candlesticks, ladles, serving trays, and that book. And there was some silver mixed in with it as well.
Well, the reason why I ask is, if you haven't heard from Astrid and Luis, Amy wanted to go to the party that we weren't invited to, so...
Yes, I heard all the gory details. You somehow made your way into a party, despite our lack of invitation.
Let's just move past that, Mother. Amy wanted to go to the party, and I will do everything I can to ensure that my family get what they want.
Yes,
I did it
even if it means bringing down the
let's
family
go on,
around
Mother.
you.
Let's go on, Mother. All of those items, they were there.
Well, gold and
I
silver.
have been right the entire time. They are who
Gold and silver serving trays, candlesticks, flatware, that sort of thing are not uncommon. There's a reason that I was able to find those in Nixon. Those are the things that wealthy people have.
And apparently they got them from buried treasure.
That was what the Wyatt family was saying.
The-
And it was a new thing to the Green Doll estate economy. New stuff that they were showing off.
It was the talk of everybody there.
The timing is suspicious, even perhaps more than circumstantial. Perhaps it might be a good idea to send our cousins out to gather some feelers while we continue moving forward.
It's been a month. So are you supposing that the Green Doll family has a witch in their midst and attacked me in broad daylight, then stole my wealth and displayed it prominently in their house at a party?
I'm saying they did display it. I'm not saying that they are working directly with a witch. I believe they have ties to this witch, as I told you a while back.
Level
that
your accusations. If they are not in league with the witch, how can they have ties?
There was the matter of the blonde woman with the nice boots, so perhaps they could have
A
just
pair
received
of
stolen
nice
goods.
boots does not make a link
No.
between peasants and nobles.
We have
And-
no direct proof, but Mother,
No.
I assure you, this is who is responsible. I know it. I feel it in my bones.
You believe it. You're like a
Well-
priest who knows the gods work for the best of mankind. You're the priest who says, don't worry, the gods work in mysterious ways. That great war where most of the population died and all the horrible things have happened, that was part of the gods' will too. Don't worry, they have your best interests in mind.
Mother, all I was suggesting was it does put a link in that there was a sale involved. They could have just received stolen goods.
From day one, it has
Well,
been
we
my
received
belief.
stolen goods. I stole those goods from the dead.
Mother, from day one, all I'm saying is from day one, I have said they are who is behind this. And as we progress along this journey, every new bit of information that comes up points to them. There is nothing that does not point to them. Everything.
However, maybe we can just get Astrid and Louise to perhaps get a little bit closer to them, or at least find out some information. Maybe that's just the next step. That way, we're not committing ourselves, but we're still opening up the door for further opportunity later on down the track.
What sort of information could those two possibly get? They're quite young.
Perhaps they could befriend the Grendel children, or it's their job if they're going to be contributing to the family.
Well, and they should, and they do what they can. But what could they possibly find out? Where these things came from?
Probably not, but just information so that we are armed if we do get that proof.
Okay.
What if
can move against them.
here's another alternative. The party we went to yesterday. Honestly, I was not the most well received. However, there was somebody that was the life of the party there, and I looked to Amy.
Your mother can't see that.
Mother, I'm
I-
looking to Amy.
I thought it was a very nice party. They did really well. I had a good time. I might have drank too much, but it's free ale and free wine.
There,
I
maybe
hope
there
you did
is.
not say to them, "It's free ale" or "It's free wine."
No. I only said that to Jonathan.
I
Mother,
hope you said it in whispers, because that is exactly the sort of reputation our family has, enjoying a party because the ale and wine is free.
if
not
only
the
Uncle
sort of
Roderick could have
reputation
been
we
there. It would have
want.
been wonderful.
It's
And,
by old
listen.
mine.
Mother,
Your father was alive today. Okay, anyway, is this all? Is this what you've gathered me about? More conspiracies about...
no. But on this note, before we shift the topic, though, maybe I imagine we're getting ready to go out and gather wealth. Maybe when we get back in the downtime, maybe Amy can try and get an in with the Green Dolls. She was very well received, and if she gets an in maybe she can gather information
Again,
from the
you're putting the cart before the horse. None of this matters if we cannot make ends meet, and by my calculations, we have 2 weeks
Yes.
to come up
That
with
is ultimately why we
200
are
gold, is it?
here. That is ultimately why we are here.
Well then, let us get to the meat of the situation. I don't care for these family politics. Keep our family afloat. What do you have for us today?
Well, Mother, last week we did hear that there were some ruins at Lake Lorraine. Have you ever been there? Have you? Did you find that to be the case? Are you aware of that?
I have once upon a time visited Lake Lauren, but from a distance. I did not approach it too closely. There are... ruins would be the right word. It's more of fallen over houses. Not the grandiose ruins of Nixon, but smaller ruins of small villages.
Is it possible we
You
could
do
find
know
wealth
the
in
monster
such a
that
place?
lurks in the lake there.
Yes, I have heard of the legend. I was hoping that we wouldn't go for a dip. I can't swim.
Well,
I think I have an idea on how to kill the monster at Lake Lauren, Mother.
Well, what does the monster look like? How would you know how to kill something? You don't even know what it is.
Torin and I had a conversation not long ago, talking about things we could do for the city. In our conversation on things we can do for the city, we had talked about maybe creating what was the word? An irrigation system to help the farms. And in that conversation, I had the brilliant idea: how about we completely irrigate the river, and we shift the river?
you want to divert an entire river.
Yes, there's a spot of land. It's probably like, I don't know, what was it, like 7 miles? We could completely reroute the river, and there's no water going to Lake Lauren.
Brother, I think we may need more resources.
Oh my god, is this who is going to inherit my family? You want to divert a river thinking that you can just dig a 7-mile trench and divert a river from an entire lake?
I never said that.
Divert
true.
a river? Like
No,
it's
it
an
wasn't
easy
true.
problem? Like you just dig a hole and the river just goes... Jonathan, you have been listening to far too many stories and tales. I think I should have squired you with someone long, long ago. I know you've always been fascinated with history and legend and stories, but you do not just dig a river. That is the thing that we have great tales of heroics for. The legends of wonderful and great people from many, many years ago. You don't just divert a river. It doesn't... Please tell me you understand you can't just divert a river.
Yes, Mother, I know.
Okay. Please tell me you are not actually thinking about going to Lake
No.
Lorun. There is a monster there that
Lake
destroyed...
Lauren is on the bottom of my list of what I want to do.
Then
Torin
let's
said-
go to the top of the list and
Top
deal with
of
the
the list.
immediate problems. Children,
I think
you are
they're on top
disappointing
of the
me.
list. I think we have family precedent matters and city precedent matters. City precedent matters is the top of the list. Is the goblins.
No. The top of the list is the family. The family comes first. The family becomes before the county. The family
Yes.
comes before the kingdom. The family comes before the gods.
Yes.
No.
Hmm.
Yes. The family comes
Rossi would
first.
slaughter us all, Mother.
Veracity, brother?
Let's just move on. Let us move on. Never mind. Let's just move on. Family takes precedent above everything. Family takes precedent above everything.
Ooh.
So, family. Let's talk about it.
Well, I mean, Mother, from what you said, does it seem then that the ruins around Lake Lauren would not have a great deal of wealth if they were just villages?
I doubt that there would be much wealth there. Whatever the villagers had on them, I'm sure they would have taken. That said, I don't know. I have not approached it because many people have died to the lake monster there. I believe whatever wealth is there is paltry, but no one knows for sure.
Still a risky endeavor then, with the potential for no reward for a lot of time spent and a lot of danger. I have been talking with Grandpa to talk with his old buddies about the land around. So hopefully that will come together later. But for the moment, then, the only lead that we have that's concrete is your buried treasure in Nixon. Perhaps we could revisit that idea.
Well, I suppose warning you off of that again won't stay your hand. You've been clamoring for a chance at that.
You surely buried it in a safe location, right?
The treasure is safe. The town is not safe.
And if we do not directly go to the treasure for say, maybe we can go around Nixon and begin to scout it out.
There may be treasures on the fringes of Nixon, and then we could discover.
Well, the fringes
flirt
have
with the
been
borders of
mined
Nixon.
for their wealth
So
for
far.
many years now. I myself have pulled out whatever I could from the furthest reaches. There's only the inner part of the town that has anything of value. Might be able to scrounge together a few golds from bits and pieces in the surrounding towns, but that's hardly worth our efforts these days. The inner sanctum of Nixon crawls with horrors and monsters. Mutants that you couldn't imagine. Half lizard, half men. Beasts with wings and feet of human, wings of owls, faces of fish.
You were infiltrated by yourself, Mother. Was the risk not too great for you to do?
Thorin, you may be strong, you may be hardy, but you are blind in one eye, and I am a far better swordsman than you. Maybe not anymore, but 2 months ago, I was a better swordsman than the lot of you put together.
Yes, this is true. I could never win a spar against you, Mother. But, okay, well, what are our other options then? We can go hunt goblins some more and get the silver head. Yes, it's the economics do not make sense. We could head south in the into the woods on the hope that something is there. There's a 50 gold bounty for the cave bear, but I don't know how strong they are. And collecting bounties from other noble families leaves a bad taste in my mouth.
She nods. I agree.
So, what does everyone else think? Swamps? South?
I didn't like the swamp.
The river.
I think that will take a lot of man hours, as you told me, brother. Maybe something for the future.
You're gonna need loads of people and loads of shovels to divert the river, and how does that even help? You just make more water in a different location.
It was a joke.
Oh, it's a joke now. Okay.
So
perhaps we could head southwest into the 3 miles of the forest and find things in the undiscovered locations. Again, that is a heavy risk, but I can't see any guaranteed certainties apart from the unattainable treasure in Nixon. We are in the same position that we started with no further information or purpose to our wanderings, but I can't see any other option.
Have we gone to Blackthorn Forest yet? No.
No.
Is there anything worthwhile there?
Well, what Mother told us last time was that she hadn't, maybe further out down the south side of it might be more doable. That there may be something down there in terms of speculation.
I'd rather go to a forest than a swamp. That swamp was terrible last time.
If we're just going out exploring with no general direction, maybe hang on. We could travel north up Blackthorn Forest along the edge, bordering the swamp, and also we could get up into these hills over here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So the swamps head through the hills to the north. Mm-hmm.
Along like the border of the swamp and the forest.
That's where the frogmen live, I believe, in that region.
If we could
Do you
deal with
think
them,
there's
perhaps
wealth
we could
acquire from them there?
Excuse me?
Do you think there's wealth we could acquire from them there?
Perhaps.
Or perhaps they may have information for us.
A few of them speak common, not too many.
And they're overall friendly, right?
Well, what languages do they speak?
Frog. And a few speak the common tongue, a odd croaking version of it.
They are overall friendly, right, Mother?
Generally, although I do believe they are opposed to visitors in their villages or whatever their... What do you call a collection of frogs?
A spawn?
A spawn?
Escargot.
Whatever you call a group of frogs, I believe they are not too fond of visitors in their intimate areas. I think they're more happy to trade.
Maybe a croak of frogs?
If we went that route, we're looking at like 10 miles, a 10-mile stretch of land along the border. And since we're actually not going into the swamp, our movement, we can move at a normal pace.
The swamp and the forest do overlap for a bit. That edge that you were just pointing out is mostly forested, but it is still swampy grounds. It's not like the swamp ends at the tree line.
Is it more firm though, Neil? In general?
A little bit, but not much. Probably not worth mentioning. No, that first section of the woods there is pretty marshy.
Right. Okay. But we can use that to get at least guide us to the hills and perhaps check out the hills then. Is there some cheap goods we could take to trade with the frog people?
Cheap goods won't make us very much money.
Just to give them the reason, the purpose, and to be there.
Cheap goods as an in order to work with them.
Yes.
Your grandfather might know something about that. He's in the room and he speaks up and goes, Yes, well, I do believe the frogmen are rather fond of the baubles we create in town. They're somewhat primitive creatures who tend to decorate themselves rather heavily with bits and pieces of flashy things here and there. Were you able to find something, I don't know, gaudy and obscene, they would probably trade for that or accept it as a gift. If you wish to make friends with them, gifts are the best way, not trade.
Very well.
Obscene, like clothing?
Shell necklaces or, things with natural components that we would consider obtuse. I've seen a frogman once carrying around a bear claw on a tether made of sinew around his neck, or her neck. It seemed quite proud of the bauble. It's quite crass by our standards, but these are savage beasts.
Very well. That seems easy and cheap, but that is perfect. Perhaps we can arrange some of the servants to go and pick up, give them a little bit of a budget.
Oh, I once knew a young woman. Oh, never mind.
Grandpa.
Long before I met your mother, or grandmother. Don't worry.
So the plan then is to head into town, or get the servants to head into town, pick up some cheap stuff and to offer as a gift, and then head off with saddlebags carrying all the stuff, and hopefully just light stuff.
Very nice, very nice. Sounds good. When
Very well.
When we go to send off the servants to get all of that, I would also ask them while we are out to send word to the brewers that I am going to be out of town for maybe a couple of days, and I will stop by when I get back.
Sure.
Apart from that, Neil, I think we're ready to head off as long as we can source gaudy stuff.
It'll
Neil.
take a day to gather all the things that you want to gather.
How about the my little commoner friends doing the paintings? We spent some my money and
you check up on them, and their artwork is like it covers the things that it covers the graffiti, but it isn't great. It's pretty childish looking.
can you describe it?
Well, like give an 8-year-old a paintbrush and tell them to draw what you drew, paint what you asked, and you know it's not what we would call quality work. Their high school or their elementary school didn't have an art program, mostly because they didn't attend any school. They've never held a paintbrush in their life, and you know they're only used to drawing things on the ground with sticks in dirt. So it's a new art form to them, and they're not artists. So
You know, when I was making this character, I was thinking I should take artistic talent and have like drawing or painting. That'll come in useful one day.
it would have.
I didn't take it.
Soft skills, man. They're useful.
All right, fair enough.
All right, so I'm guessing we head off early. If not too early, then I'll go and do the sparring in the morning.
Yeah, so you're gonna head off the next day. So Amy, recover an HP.
During the downtime, if nothing comes of this, we don't have to do anything with it. But I would stop by the taverns and see if there was anyone looking froggy that might be interested in coming out for a gold a day.
So if we have access to Susan, our doctor, our HP is 2 a day.
If you get complete bed rest, like if you don't do anything whatsoever.
Definitely didn't do that.
Okay,
no.
so you're doing nothing that next day. All right, you can gain 2 then for today, because you're gonna have to leave tomorrow. It'll take a day to gather the things to trade with the
Yeah,
frogs and all.
after the hangover, I'll spend time inside.
Okay.
So I'm at 4
Hold on.
HP.
Someone said something else a moment ago, and I missed it.
During the downtime throughout the day,
Right.
as we're waiting for everything to come together, I would stop at a tavern and look for a hired gun to go out into the swamp with us.
There's not really any mercenaries around this town. The Champions Hall they have like I guess you could call it like a union that keeps all the mercenaries going through them. That's like the place where you get mercenaries from. And your Champions Hall burned down, and no one comes up this far because no one in this town can really afford mercenaries like that. So there are no hired swords around.
Okay. Sounds good.
Okay.
So
You guys wait the day. Amy's at 4, and we roll into what is it now? Tuesday the 18th. You have gathered crude baubles to gift away to the frogmen. How much money are you spending on these baubles?
How much would it take for a bag's worth sort of thing? A saddlebag's worth?
I mean, like, you want to fill up saddlebags with these things, it's going to cost you, like, 20 or 30 gold.
Sorry, saddlebags as in one saddlebag, not saddlebags of the donkey.
Okay.
Poorly named choice of my beer.
Then 10 or 15 gold to fill up a saddlebag on saddlebags.
Maybe we'll just spend 5 or 7 gold then.
I mean, determine how much gold you want to spend on these baubles.
Okay. What do you guys think? 5, 10?
I'm good with whatever.
I think if we can get about 5 of these interesting natural-looking necklaces, worth maybe a gold each, that sounds about right.
All right, so 5 gold then. I dare say it won't cost us a gold each for them. They'll be pretty cheap.
Right.
But yeah, so we can probably get like 25 or something like that for 5 gold.
I was thinking like if there's like hunters or something and they've killed an animal and we can just like steal its tail and put it on a necklace, then that works. Or its paw.
Yeah.
Like
So So just put down 5 gold. I don't think we need to go into what specifically it is because we're just going to give it away anyway.
Right.
So,
Okay.
yeah. So we'll spend 5 gold.
All right. Wealth is gathered. Saddlebags is saddled. And you guys still have rations?
I'm going to pick up 5 rations. I marked the...
Standard rations?
Yeah.
How much is that?
I also want to give my necklace and my 3 rings that I picked up from the Guild Gang to Astrid and Luis. Something for them to hold on to. And I would have them to go pick up my cloak while I'm gone that I paid gold for.
Okay. So remove those from your character sheet.
Okay.
Okay. So you have you picked up some rations, 2 silver per day of rations.
Oh, I need to pick up some rations as well then. How many days are we going then?
As long as it takes. I've got 4 days rations, but I also have only 10 copper pieces left on my personal wealth, so I can't really afford anything more. I might need to take another gold from the treasury if that's cool with everyone, just to buy another ration too. All right.
So those rings and that necklace, Neil, will that then be calculated in our family wealth?
No, that's their Louise and Astrid's personal wealth.
Okay.
Okay. So everything is gathered. You guys are ready to head out. Saddlebags is saddled. Now you drop something, and it just like vanishes. How does that happen? Just gone. We don't need pencils. All right, you guys are ready to head out. You head out through the north gate of Wadsworth, and what way are you gonna go?
Follow the river to the forest border and probably stick in the forest on the 3-mile mark or so and head up to the hills.
Hey, you enter the Stinking Marsh through the Blackthorn Forest. The Stinking Marsh has certainly earned its name. It smells like rotting cabbage pretty much everywhere. It takes maybe an hour or so before your olfactory degeneration kicks in enough for you guys to not notice it. And head northward, moving about, 8 miles a day? What we had determined? Yeah. You see no muckmen out there. None of the humans are working in the swamps anymore. They seem to be a little afraid of the goblins, and there's no one there to protect them, so they've been staying in. So it's... Aside from the sounds of life all around you, it's rather quiet. Just you guys in saddlebags mucking along through these trees. The day passes slowly, but eventually you make it towards the foothills, maybe 3/4 of the way through the day. Anything in particular you guys want to do when you get to the foothills?
Turn east and keep on going.
Oh, so you're gonna cut it out this way?
Hang on, wasn't watching.
You're gonna, so you guys are up here-ish now.
Yep.
So you're gonna just cut east through the hills?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You start moving through the hills, and late afternoon turns to evening. You've seen no signs of intelligent life, although plenty of signs of snakes and weird mutant fish, mosquitoes, the usual creatures of the swamp. Frogs, sort of thing.
Does the swamp extend to the foothills?
Yeah. So this whole area is sort of semi-magically created. The Tuk-Tuk Mountains were raised during the war, and with it the foothills. And the swampy area, as the foothills raised up, some swampland kind of got stuck in between the foothills. So you'll have these large dry patches of hills, and then in between the hills and the valleys or the valleys between the hills will be swampy. And it is considered that's probably where most of the frogmen live, or in these valleys in the hills where it's still swampy.
Cool, we're in the right place, but I was not expecting it to still stink in the foothills.
Yeah. You've never been up here before. This is probably a surprise to you. Few people travel this far.
I would imagine that we're traveling on the high ground of the hills. Is that a fair assumption?
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
As we are traveling on the high grounds of the hills, can we get like a good view of the Tuk Tuk Mountains off in the
Oh,
distance?
totally. You've got a great view of the Tuk Tuk Mountains. They are snow-capped right now. The rest of their sides are lightly wooded, but mostly just kind of rocky cliff faces. The mountains have only been there for 50-something years, 56, 57, 58 years. So there hasn't really had a lot of time for trees to climb their way up the mountains. Trees have kind of just popped up in a few places, probably from bird droppings or whatever.
Neil, does that also mean that they're impassable and that there's no ravines created from wind erosion, etc.? No ridges created?
There are ridges, because, you know, it wasn't created via plate tectonics. They were literally raised from the ground by magic. So they're craggy. There could be some passes through. There is a legend of a local hero who climbed to the top of the Tuk Tuk Mountains. He's the only reason that you know the lands beyond it are badlands, and, you know.
Was his name Tuk Tuk?
I think
No.
it's Sigrosa or something.
It's something. It's in your lore document somewhere.
I believe it's Sigrosa. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right.
Maybe not. So, I forget what the question was. I've lost.
It was just if they're pretty much if there's passes through the mountains. If it's only
You would
been
have
50.
to discover your own passes through.
Yep.
I would imagine that this is a conversation we're having. And as we're having this conversation, I would say, well, I bet we could follow the forest around the mountains if we wanted to go around.
Into the Badlands. We
It would be like
The
about
Badlands.
7 miles into the forest and then about 8 to get out, it looks like.
are you changing the plan? You no longer want to traverse the hills and find the frogs and information, hopefully?
That would, I think it would be cool to go beyond the mountains and into the Badlands, but we don't know what's out there, and we need wealth, and we need it now.
If we can find the frogmen who speak common, we can ask them what's beyond the mountain.
That's a good idea. That's a good idea.
They may only have local knowledge, but anyway, let's
keep
continue.
looking. So as we're traveling the high grounds of the hills, I just want to keep an eye out, watching down like both ends of the hills. So I guess watching the low points as we are on the high points,
Okay.
and look for any signs of life.
Okay, well, this first day passes uneventfully, and the sun begins to set over the Blackthorn Forest, and you guys are going to have to make camp.
Okay. As we set up camp, I would like to look to the stars as I ponder my sister and her date of birth and
What?
astrology check
Okay.
and my sister's future.
What's my date of birth? You can make it up if you want.
Why don't you roll me an astrology check?
You've like
Minus
killed
2.
me now. This roll will kill me.
Okay, I got it. Slash roll. 6.
The stars tell you nothing. You cannot see your sister's future.
Okay.
Okay. You guys make camp for that night. What order do you set your watch, if any?
I can take first watch if no one else wants it. I don't care.
I would have taken the first watch in this
Okay.
case.
I'll take first or last. My low perception.
So I'll take middle. Amy first, me second, Torin last.
Yeah. How long are our watches?
I think we had decided it's 3 hours each. I
Yeah,
don't rightly remember though.
sounds about right.
Okay. The night passes uneventfully. You guys start packing up in the morning. And set out. You guys are somewhere. Where's my map? Somewhere around. Around this section. You're not. This is not a super accurate spot. You can still see forest to the north. So you're not quite this far yet. You're somewhere in this region, this little box that I've just drawn. Where do you go?
I would imagine that we follow along these like taller hills here. It looks like there's taller hills.
Yeah. Cool.
So,
So you keep heading eastward. Maybe 3 hours after you guys get up and head out, you spot coming your way a group of these frog men. They're riding giant beetles and laden with all sorts of bags. They clearly see you, and you clearly see them as you like come around or come over an low edge of a hill, and they're down the valley maybe a half mile, and you're over here a half mile, and there's pretty much only you guys to see. The whole area is open terrain except for the swampy bits. But you guys spot one another.
I will wave in a friendly manner, and I guess we just walk casually down. Yeah.
I follow Torin's lead on this, afraid of dying.
I'm gonna say, Torin, are those trinkets ready?
Yes,
Can I have one?
Yes, certainly. I'll reach into the saddlebag and hand you one. Particularly gaudy thing.
Okay. What is this one?
And we continue forth.
All right, you guys continue towards the frogmen. You come across them rather quickly. But they look like riding their beetle, laden with all sorts of goods.
And there's a marriage
I could ride one of these beetles, Neil.
They wear bobble hats.
They're large beetles. These frogmen are maybe 4.5 or 5 feet tall. So you would be maybe just a little bit too big for the beetle, but maybe not. You don't know how strong these creatures are.
Still, the beetle is what size? Large, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want a beetle and a pet centaur. I see this as we walk up to them.
Right. You guys approach the group of frogmen. There are 4 of them riding 4 beetles. The first one puts up a 3-fingered hand and croaks at you a little bit and goes, "Welcome, travelers."
It speaks common.
You are in strange lands.
Greetings. Yes, we are traversing.
Huh?
I think it's normal for them, Torin. Proceed.
Hello.
Greetings.
I just need a moment.
We come from Wadsworth.
Why are you in our hills?
We bring gifts of trade. We desire trade and knowledge about the land. Torin?
I'm gonna hold up the little necklace with the natural animal hand paw hanging from it and say, a trinket for trade.
Yes,
And
we
we
do,
have plenty more.
and we do not mean to intrude upon your home. Our apologies for that. We are passing through, searching for old relics, old places.
You are heavily armed? Heavily armored? Do you mean us harm?
No,
No. I take the trinket and put it on and be like, look, it looks good, you know.
we mean you no harm. It's these lands are dangerous and foreign to us. They are not our home. It is for our protection.
They all ribbit at each other for a few moments. The lead one turns back around to face you guys. We are ill prepared to trade today. We are unexpecting humans here.
I looked at Torin. Maybe we should just trade it for information.
Well, yes, that was the goal. Let's not speak behind their backs.
Okay, you take the lead.
So we offer you these gifts. We do not need to trade. We offer them freely for coming into your lands. Will you accept our gifts?
Gifts are most generous.
Thank you. Perhaps would you like to eat with us? Share food.
It is unwise. But we graciously accept gifts.
Very well.
We ask in return of the gifts, would you be able to point us to a place nearby where we could attain wealth? And I looked at Torin hesitantly.
Subtle, brother. Very, very subtle. I get the goods out of the subtle bags.
I'll go up to Jonathan and say, what about information on the Badlands?
Wealth? I do not understand.
We seek old human buildings, old human places.
Is this wealth?
It is a means to wealth. It is possible. Do you know of any?
Old humans in Wadsworth.
No more.
All your
Left.
all your elders are dead?
Oh no! Before Wadsworth, well, before now.
I think what my friend here is implying, we seek old human buildings, places where humans used to be, but because of the changes in the land are no longer here.
You seek yes.
Torin.
There
See
is
how they speak to each other.
there is such a place.
Would you be able to point us in the direction?
It is beyond our home, which we are They chatter for a moment, and he says, old human place. Long way. We show you long way.
You show us a long way when there's a short way?
The short way is closed to you.
Very well. We understand and we accept. And please accept these gifts.
The frog moves his beetle, which slowly skitters up to you, and uses his staff to reach out and take the bag from you and place it next on his saddles with all the other stuff. He quickly rifles through it, looking at the goods.
You know, as they do this, I look all of these individuals and their beetles upside down. Do I see wealth on them?
Define wealth.
Are they? What are they clad in? Is there like armors or weapons or?
Well, here's this picture again.
Okay, so this picture is pretty accurate.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say it's exactly the same thing, but this is a general gist.
Okay.
So as the frog and the beetle come close to take the bag from Torin, I take the chain from off my neck and hold it up in front of me, and offer it to the stick that he's holding out, so he can take it directly from my hands.
He does with the stick.
Good.
So they have bags, they have cloth, they've got things, but there's no like obvious gold or silver hanging from them anywhere. And you know for a fact that they do not mine. They don't really use a lot of metal goods, and what few metal goods they do have, they get from humans.
Neil, do they give me back the saddlebag or?
Yes. Well, I guess you did just kind of hand them a bag, and they just took the bag, assuming that.
Sorry, I was imagining like holding it out to.
Oh, okay. So if you hold out individual things, they'll take it from you, not take the bag. Okay.
Okay, cool. Very good.
This long way you guys speak of, how long is it to? How long is this long way?
How many suns? How many days?
One or 2 days.
Good.
Human
very
legs
well.
are very short, slow moving.
Yes, they are compared to your wondrous beetle. Well, if you would like to lead on, we would happily follow. If you were happy to go at our slower speed.
Okay. The frogmen chatter for a moment and then head southeast towards the stinking marsh, towards the heart of the stinking marsh.
As we are walking, I imagine they're a little bit in front of us, and if we have a moment where we're by ourselves, I pull out my journal and I get both Torin and Amy's attention, and I open up to one of the back of the pages, and I write, "They are hiding something." And then I close it once they see it.
Are you guys all literate?
Yes, I am.
Yes.
Okay. Cool.
I just shrug and keep on going.
And as we are on our way, I strike up a conversation with them about the gods and ask them what gods they worship in Frogland.
They give you names that are like croaks and ribbits.
Okay,
They don't translate their names very well.
sounds good.
So they lead you for the better part of a day until you're somewhere past the forest, and kind of below the hills. You're somewhere in this region right now. You're not sure exactly where, but you're somewhere in there. When the frogs stop and point you northeast. Can you see the arrow that I'm drawing?
Yeah.
Yes.
They point you this direction and tell you that at the base of the mountain there is an old stone structure that is human.
Good. Thank you very much. We are in your debt.
It is nearing the end of the day, and they now turn back and head in the direction that you guys came from, which is like north.
Before they disappear, I would like to ask them, how do we say in the frog language, thank you, hello, and goodbye? Simple terms. I'll have to work on that. Thanks.
Okay.
As they walk away, I say to Amy, maybe we can take one of them as a slave so it can teach you its language.
No, you don't need a slave.
Slaves are always handy. Also, as they walk away, once they're out of sight, I point to Amy. I point out to Amy and Torin. I think their home is in this area, or like due north of where we are right now. Because,
that would make sense. It does make sense that they would not want humans to be aware of where they live.
Obviously, they deterred us from whatever is right there, and whatever they are hiding, I believe, is there.
Absolutely, and that makes perfect sense. Regardless, we need to head northeast, but shall we make camp here? Does here look like a good spot?
Are we in the middle of the swamp?
You're in the middle of the swamp.
Let's get out of the swamp first.
Very well. Head for a hill. What we're going, Jonathan, perhaps you could make some sort of way to tie up our beds in between two trees, maybe.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. Do we still have rope? I believe we do. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's see if we can get out of the swamp before nightfall.
Good.
Okay. All right, so you guys get out of the swamp before nightfall. You kind of make it into the beginning of the hills, and you can camp on the side of a hill where your sleeping pads won't be in swampy water. It's not
Okay, cool. Before we set up camp, I would like to try and find a place where maybe there's like a spot, like an incline that's almost like vertical. So we're setting up camp against some type of wall or partial wall if possible.
Okay.
Kind of as a natural
easy
defense.
peasy. You definitely find a large stone slab. It's like a boulder that came and cracked, and the other half rolled all the way down. So there's a almost sheer cliff that you can camp up against to give yourself a back.
And then, if I can, with our rope, I would like to try and set up a tripwire or something if possible around our camp.
How would you set up a tripwire?
So let's see. I would find like a stick or something and drive the stick into the ground.
But I guess what I'm trying to say is like, you have hemp rope, and so a tripwire made with hemp rope isn't going to be like a tripwire. Like anyone's going to be able to spot that pretty easily. Tripwire needs to be super thin and difficult to see.
Okay, well, never mind then.
Yeah. We don't have any of that. Before we set up camp, I'd like to find at least one smooth stone so that if I ever want to use my sling, which I've kept on me, then I can.
So you don't have normal ammunition for your sling?
No, because I use a crossbow, but just in case I might want to use the sling, I'm going to pick up a smooth stone.
Sure. You can gather a few smooth stones. And I take it your watch order is going to be the same as before?
Yep.
Yeah, I'll take the first one.
Okay.
In this night, I would try and do an astrology check on Torin.
So.
Sure. Why don't you give me another astrology check?
Hey, at least that's one birthday you definitely know.
And Amy, why don't you roll me a perception check at the same time?
Brilliant.
All right, Jonathan. You get a reading from the stars on Torin.
Shit.
I see his death coming.
Wow. That escalated.
On a side note, I failed that check.
Yes, you did. Sadness and hardship remain. Is what the stars tell you, Jonathan.
I keep this to myself.
I appreciate that.
Sounds like normal Tauren, right?
Anyway, so you guys make camp. I guess you eat a cold meal, or you're out of the swamp. You can actually make fire if you want because they're on the side of the hill.
Well, we can make a small one and it'd be easy to cover it on the side. You know, you can just dig a little bit lower. So yeah, we can make a small fire and then make sure it's out.
Sure. All right, you guys bed down for the night, and why don't we see what happens when we come back from break? See you guys on the other side. Bye.